Today I'm going to be sharing a green garlicky recipe with you that I'm making for my school, Hawthorne University, where I'm getting my Master of Science in Holistic Nutrition. And this particular recipe is easier than any recipe that I've done, and every course, we do live on a farm, and there's the rooster. Every course there's a recipe. And this particular one, we need to harvest some greens. So this is beautiful spinach. Jim, do you want to come down and look at this? And you can talk. Look how nice, and it goes way, way, way down.
I mean, for so long this was just eensy beensy, and now it's grown up good.
It's just beautiful. And so I'm going to harvest this, and I'm going to see whether I need to go over and get Swiss chard. So we have a bunch of Swiss chard, but I want to make sure that this doesn't go to waste because it's getting hotter, and the last thing I want this to do is just sit here and bolt when we can take it all. So I may just do all of this one and just have a completely spinach one, because when you're doing greens, you can combine all of the different fruits and the different greens that you want to. Turnip greens, mustard greens, collard. I'm not a super fan of collard just because it's tougher, but I suppose if I learned how to cook it where it was, I cooked it longer, that I bet you it would be good too. And it's got a lot more nutrients in it than some of the other ones do. So I am actually harvesting this entire bush, my lettuce bush, because now there will be none left to spoil. And
you said lettuce bush, and
it's a lettuce bush. This is a lettuce bush. Oh, this spinach bush. Sorry. So we'll do this one too, and then these will be done. I think I will still need some Swiss chard because I believe it takes 2 pounds of this, or okay, 2 big bunches of it anyway.
Well, I happen to know where we can find some Swiss chard.
All right. The rest of this little box is my scallions that I brought from Oregon. And if you know me, you know I have an onion fetish. I like to use onions in everything. This recipe also calls for garlic, and I'm going to show you a special trick to do with garlic so that you get enriched antioxidants from it when you're cooking it and using it in any way. Okay. All right, this is our beautiful Swiss chard that we just keep harvesting from. I'm going to actually take some of the tender leaves in the center so that we can have enough for our recipe. We have found that you can't have too many greens because you cook them and you get 2 or 3 meals out of them, and they're just delicious to keep in your refrigerator and keep going. And they're always an asset to your meals. We are in the kitchen and we are going to make garlicky leafy greens. So I have the opportunity in doing this recipe to change it up however I want to. I have an onion fetish, or especially a shallot. I think I said scallions before. In the beginning of the video when we were picking the spinach, I was showing you that I had shallots growing. Those are shallots back there. I actually,
whatever she called them, they're shallots.
actually went to visit Oregon and brought them back from the Portland nursery, which we really enjoyed visiting. So I want to tell you something about onions and shallots. The skin is really healthy. So a smaller amount that you can pull off, it has vitamins.
Now, you're not talking about this outside.
I am talking about this because
you would eat that part?
Well, I put it in my broths and everything like that. I just throw the whole thing in, same with the garlics.
Oh.
So the skin is really healthy.
Okay,
so
I learned something.
You want to pull off as little of this outer layer and just leave most of that as you possibly can closest to this, because it's full of antioxidants from A, C, and E. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, what we're going to do is I have taken this beautiful, beautiful onion and I've put it into little slices, which puts it into rings. Would you like to turn the stove on? And I'm going to cook it in butter and olive oil combination. So we're going to cook it low so that we don't have too much heat on our butter. But I love cooking onions in butter. We're going to cook them slowly and kind of just do this caramelized onion. Now this recipe doesn't call for caramelized onion, but when you put onion and garlic into any of your food, it's adding antioxidants into it.
Which we want plenty of.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So, I want to show you how we do the garlic and why we do them this way. So these garlics are out of here, and I just pulled them out, and we're going to crush them like that.
That sounded like a crushing action.
And we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. By doing that, and allowing them to sit, it brings out an enormous amount of antioxidants.
Enormous.
Enormous.
Okay. So it's just the
resting part.
The liquids that are there mixed together, interact with the.
The first time I heard about that, it was in that book, The 100 Healthiest Foods from George.
Whatever, Maitland?
No.
Maitland?
I'll put it on the bottom.
Okay.
And he taught me that, and then I've gone and read about it. And in my textbook, it even talks about how important it is to let them rest.
Wow, nice fact.
Nice fact. All right. The other thing that we are going to do and add to it is lemon. Now, we often add lemon to a spinach or something like that, but why do we do it? I am going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because this beautiful spinach that we have right here and this Swiss chard, it has iron in it, but it doesn't have what's called heme iron. It has non-heme iron. So our red meats and our meats have heme iron, and that absorbs into our body a lot better.
Okay.
In order to use the non-heme, we need to add
citrus
ascorbic acid to it, and this increases the availability and the absorbability by 6 times.
Of the iron that's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it allows.
Which you need, and you don't just want to pass it through your system, you want it to be absorbed.
So, yes. So, Jim and I are going to be cutting up these beautiful greens, and while we're doing that, we're going to be cooking great onions that are antioxidant, letting these garlics rest, and then putting lemon on them.
Okay.
Which is all going to add to the absorbability and the antioxidants.
Okay.
Let's chop. So I'm going to add my garlic now to my onions that are good. We only need to take the garlic and some shakes of some red pepper flakes and cook them for about 30 seconds. Oh my, that smells delicious. I wish you could smell the garlic. So garlic you want to cook not as much as you would do onions. You just want it to be their thing that you add near the end, really. And that's why I'm only going to be cooking them 30 seconds. Now you're going to watch me load this completely full of greens. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And then we're going to salt and pepper to taste. And we're going to cook it until it's a deep green. And I'm actually going to turn this so that it gets the butter and the olive oil on it all over. And it brings those onions and garlic up through the greens. So by adding the fat to the greens, we make the greens more absorbable for the fatty acids that are in it. Because fatty acids like fat. You can see how quickly they're cooking down. We love greens. We have them all the time. I was excited about this recipe because I've showed you before how to cook greens, and this is another way, and there must be dozens of ways, and it's really fun to be able to learn all the different ways because it is the season of greens right now.
At what point does the lemon go in?
The lemon goes in after these are cooked. They're the last thing that we put into it.
So is it cooked or is it put on after you take it off the fire?
I'm going to put the lemon on before I take it off the fire and then plate immediately and eat. Delicious. Okay, I'm going to let you squeeze the lemon.
Both of them?
Both of them. Why not?
Why not? Here we go.
Oh, that might be enough. That's a lot, huh? How much does it say? Squeeze a fresh lemon. That's what it says. Shall we see if that's enough to taste? Because we can't take it out, but we can certainly put more in.
You don't think you can take the lemon out?
All right.
Probably not, huh?
Can you run this over to here? And here we go. And you'll notice I did not have to add any additional water to this at all. I want to get all those beautiful onions and garlic. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe of the course. I will put a recipe on for each course that we have and share it with you, and not only share the recipe but share why it is so good for you and how to make it optimal for your absorption and your taste and your nutrition. Thanks for following us. Eat hearty.